Okay, so what we'd said is that we've got this idea of the kind of limits on what we can produce. Yeah, and here again we have goods, and here we have services, and we said that the boundary shows the maximum amount. Yeah, it shows the maximum amount of goods and services that we can currently produce. Yeah, so with our existing factors of production, we can only have A goods or B services or some combination in between. Yeah, and combinations in between. So points like C and D. Yeah, they just reflect different choices within our society. In economy C, they prefer goods to services. In economy D, they prefer services to goods. Yeah, but what we said is that in the original situation, we said, well, there was a point inside that was inefficient, but we'd quite like to get to point D. But we can't at the moment, because we haven't got enough factors of production. In the long term, though, it might be possible. So we know that, in most countries, populations grow. We know that in most countries, firms are investing into new capital equipment and technology. In some places in the world, you go somewhere like Hong Kong, they're building out into the sea. Same with the Netherlands, so they're increasing, or Dubai, where they've got those, the kind of island things. Yeah? What they're doing is they're building out into the sea. They're increasing land, or if you go vertical. So in the long term, it might be possible, to increase your factors of production. And if you did that, you'd be able, your potential output, would be able to increase. You'd be able to have both more goods. We'd be able to move to A dash or something, and more services, and get to B dash, and as a result, we might now be able to have both more goods and more services as a result of an increase in the total number, or perhaps the total efficiency of our factors of production. If we have a better educated workforce, then again we'd be able to produce both more goods and more services. So, whereas a movement from A to B, what that's saying, that's sometimes called actual growth. And what that's just showing is we're using our existing resources efficiently. And we said that A was a bit of a waste because we had unemployed resources. By moving from A to B, all we're doing is making better use of our existing resources. To go from B to D, we couldn't originally have done that without having more resources. And that's a change in our potential, that's a change in our overall capacity. And that's been caused by having either an increase in the quantity or the quality of our factors of production. More labour, better educated labour, and so on. So that's possible. Another possibility, another way in which a production possibility frontier could shift, obviously, is the reverse. So if we take the current coronavirus epidemic, we know that people are actually dying. Businesses are permanently being killed, and as a result, what could happen, as a result, is that actually, because we have fewer people, the actual potential of the economy has been reduced. This is more commonly the case of wars, kind of natural disasters like earthquakes and hurricanes and so on, that permanently reduce your economic potential. So this one would be the destruction of factors of production, one way or another. And it's worth distinguishing that from just an increase in unemployment. So suppose that an economy just demand just falls, and as a result, people lose their jobs. We move from B to A, but they're not dying. One day, hopefully, the economy will recover. And we've got services and goods. One day, in the future, the economy will recover. And as a result, we'll end up going back to point B once these people find jobs again. So that's the idea of something called a recession. Which is just where demand falls in the economy and people lose their jobs, but one day they'll have jobs again. And lastly, it's possible for there to be a change in productivity affecting one sector, but not another. So if we look back, back sort of 20, 30, 40 years, if instead of services on this axis, I now put agriculture. So this is kind of crops and stuff. And here again we have goods and services. Something doesn't really matter. What we know is that over the last 40 or 50 years, there have been big improvements in agricultural technology, big improvements in crop yields, in pesticides to control disease and in crops. So yeah, we've got genetically modified crops, which for the same amount of land, just give you more, a greater yield of crops, give you more rice, give you more wheat. The impact of that, of course, it doesn't affect the amount of goods and services we can produce. If we put all of our resources into goods and services, well, the fact that you've got lots of brilliant rice, it doesn't make any difference because you're not making any. However, if you're growing lots and lots of agriculture initially, improvements in technology in agriculture will make a big difference. And what will happen is that your potential to produce agricultural goods, will be much bigger than it was before. So sometimes you can have these uneven shifts in production possibility frontier caused by a change in the productivity or the efficiency of one sector. Sometimes you'll get a change in productivity that affects both sectors, but this is something very specific in this case to agriculture, so it doesn't affect the other sector. And then we get what's sometimes called a pivot, an uneven shift outwards in our production possibility frontier.